It's a field of 11 going around as we take you back to Greg Miles.
Moving up here, Chris, for the second big jumps race of the day. This is a race that 3 times in the 1990s has seen the winner here go on to win the Grand National Steeplechase at Flemington. In 91, Believable, 92, Donny's Chance, and in 98, Burrawee Lord took out the big double. And Knock It Off has gone forward. Here's Around the Neck about to come in. The favourite, Melos, awaiting his turn. Big double in a chance of being picked up by Jim Houlihan and Craig Durden, with Melos, who's only had the one steeplechase start, for a victory. Most of them in now. 3,800 metres. They jump 16 fences on their journey. It's a testing course. They start up on top of the hill at the back of the track. The double up on top of that rise is the first 2 fences they meet. They come down for a double down the side, 5 in the lane, then they head out of the straight and back up the hill again. There's a double at the foot of the rise. They complete a circuit, and then come the last 5 fences. The double on top of the hill, 2 down the side, then they come back to the course proper for one final fence, the 16th fence, which is near the 350 metre mark. So it's a great test. It's a wonderful steeplechase track, and this is the first of the big steeplechase races to be run this season. Won last year by Burrawee Lord. He beat Bagheera and Parlez-Vous. Burrawee Lord went on to win the Grand National, of course. He was a wonderful, dashing front runner, trained by David Brodoke. He's had just a minor setback, which meant that David had to put him in the paddock for this winter, but he's promised that we'll see him again next year. There's Gigabar in the black colours, Yo-Yo Joe in the purple. Naruma Guy's won weaker races at Warrnambool at his last couple, but he'll appreciate a drop in weights today. It's him in the famous coal diesel colours. Now, Around the Neck is proving a bit of a handful as he doesn't want to move up into the gates. Lake Thor in the interim has gone along. And also Palace Symphony. He was the champion fencer of 97. Palace Symphony just seems to be out of form at the moment. But his last start was a little hint that there was something there, a little inkling that the embers are still ready to burst into flame. Now, they're all in the gates with 2 exceptions. Kells Tower the Grey, who has the blinkers off today. He's 100 to 1 chance. And Around the Neck, who is proving most obstinate over at the start. He's got to move in pretty soon into gate 1, or he might be in some strife. Kells Tower in the meantime is coming up, and Around the Neck, well, he said, I've had my fun and games for the day. I'll just walk in comfortably, thank you. He's ready. 3,800 metres for the Australian steeplechase. 16 fences on their journey. Constable back aboard now, and the field is ready. It's a big test. All clears through. Racing in the Australian steeplechase. Melos, if anything, a little slow to move. Yo-Yo Joe, Around the Neck, Gigabar, a prominent early with Kells Tower and Palace Symphony as they meet the first of 16 fences now. And Kells Tower, the leader from Palace Symphony, Around the Neck third. Moving up on the outside, Naruma Guy with Gigabar, 2 or 3 lengths to Wild Trista, followed then by Knock It Off. Over on the rails is Melos, trailed by Lake Thor, Yo-Yo Joe, and Summer Bay has moved up on the outside of Yo-Yo Joe as the field of 11 comes down the side the first time. And the old grey Kells Tower leads. Naruma Guy is moving up about a neck away. A couple of lengths away is Palace Symphony in third, and they're followed by Gigabar racing fourth outside of Around the Neck. 1.5 to Knock It Off, trailed by Summer Bay, Lake Thor, Wild Trista. Melos to the tail there in company with Yo-Yo Joe. Here's the double down the side of the course in the first circuit now. Naruma Guy steadily moving up on the outside to take the lead from Kells Tower. Gigabar is right there third, and then Knock It Off, who's moved up wider out on the course as they go to this next fence. Next is Palace Symphony, Around the Neck and Yo-Yo Joe together. Summer Bay outside them, and the last trio, Wild Trista on the inside from Lake Thor and Melos. but they're very tightly bunched, and they come down the lane now for the 5 fences down the steeplechase lane. Kells Tower and Naruma Guy are the 2 leaders here. A very bunched field though. Palace Symphony just behind them, with Gegabar wide out around the neck. Knock It Off is the widest runner. Just behind those horses, Yo-Yo Joe, Summer Bay, Lake Thor and Melos is last, but there'd only be 6 or 7 lengths covering the field as they go to the 3rd fence in the lane. The next one coming up, and it's Naruma Guy on the inside. He had to be ridden into it. He nearly stopped it. He came out and hampered Gegabar, who got unbalanced temporarily there, and it's Naruma Guy coming down towards the 9th fence in the race. He's going to be the leader. Over it in front of Gegabar second, around the neck over on the inside of Knock It Off share next placing, and they're followed by Summer Bay, Palace Symphony between horses, Wild Trista on the rail. Next is Melos back there with Kells Tower, who's got shuffled back to the tail with Yo-Yo Joe, and Lake Thor's now last of all, or second last, as Kells Tower turns out of the straight 2 lengths behind him. Naruma Guy the leader. They've been hacking early though, and they're about to climb into the back straight for the run up the hill, and it's Naruma Guy now by 1.5 lengths, Gegabar and around the neck together. On their outside, improving Knock It Off from Summer Bay and Palace Symphony, and a 1/2 length away to Wild Trista. One further back in the field is Melos, who's starting his run now as they commence to run up the hill, followed by Yo-Yo Joe, Lake Thor and Kells Towers last of all. The double at the foot of the rise, and Naruma Guy first over it, lands by 1 length around the neck, who's been prominent all the way. Gegabar on the outside at the second of the double, leapt it well from Melos, who's gone up to 4th or 5th with Palace Symphony and Wild Trista on the rail. He's been saving ground on it. 2 lengths to Summer Bay. Lake Thor, Yo-Yo Joe, Knock It Off has dropped out, and Kells Towers last of all. 1400 to go. They've done a circuit, and here's the double coming up on top of the hill again. Naruma Guy leads. He's 2 lengths in front. Over it in front of Melos, who's jumped through the pack to be up there with the 2nd and 3rd placing. Palace Symphony and around the neck on his outside over that fence. Gegabar is next as they commence to run down the hill now, and they've got 3 to jump. About 1,000 or a little more to go. Naruma Guy in front of Palace Symphony, and around the neck on the outside. 1 to Gegabar 4th, and then Melos on the inside. Lake Thor's improving. 2 lengths to Summer Bay, then Wild Trista and Yo-Yo Joe with a long break in the field of the other 2 who are out of the race. They came down towards the 800 metre mark now, and there's 3 fences to go. A double coming up, and around the neck is getting to the lead. Tackling him is Gegabar. Yo-Yo Joe on the outside is putting himself in the picture with Lake Thor. Then Naruma Guy. Melos back on the inside with some work to do, coming towards the second last one now, and around the neck has jumped it well. Melos didn't handle it well. Around the neck from Gegabar. Lake Thor is still coming home, and Naruma Guy is getting his second win down on the inside as they swing around the turn into the straight now with 1 to jump, and it's Lake Thor in the middle going through to take the lead with around the neck on his outside, clear of Naruma Guy, and then a gap to Gegabar. Here's the last one now, and around the next jumped at about 1/2 length on Lake Thor. Oh, one's fallen there, Yo-Yo Joe. It's around the neck from Lake Thor, Naruma Guy and Gegabar. Lake Thor won't give in. Around the neck with a head advantage. It's another great finish. Around the neck and Lake Thor. Who can stay the better? Lake Thor's finishing at a shade the better. Around the neck kicks again, but Lake Thor, the Tasmanian, breaks his Australian maiden and winning it by a neck. Around the neck is second, and third is about 5 lengths away, Naruma Guy. From Gegabar, Summer Bay, Wild Trista, and then Palace Symphony. Next to finish is Melos. And then there's about a furlong further back to Knock It Off with Kells Tower behind him. Way over at the 1600 metres too, and Tarbob began well. Anxiety attack, something amiss early, dropped out to be last. The rider seemed to be in some